Gents, welcome to My Intelligence. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think some relationships just don't hit off the bat? You think you're attractive enough, but why is it hard for you to get a date? The answer is simple. You don't know how to talk to girls. So today, we'll share with you our take on AWX Inc.'s greatest conversation starters.
Some of these conversation starters work in person or on a dating app. Regardless, these will help you approach her better and learn how to talk more confidently. Aside from helping you practice better social skills, we'll also share the worst thing you can possibly do when talking to a girl. Are you ready to get the conversation going? Let's get started. Number 5. I'd say God bless you, but it looks like he already did.
Starting off this list strong and confident, we figured out that pickup lines make incredible icebreakers. Conversation starters such as this one often leads to some giggles and blushing on the receiving end. The reason why this chat-up line works is because you can use it to your advantage. You can follow up the conversation with something along the lines of, "You look cuter when you blush and smile." Not only will this make you look more confident, but it will also show her that you find her attractive, which is a huge plus because who doesn't appreciate sincere compliments? As a matter of fact, genuine compliments like this make the best conversation starters because they make people feel good about themselves. Another way to show your intent towards a girl is by asking her questions that'll help you get to know her better. Hey, don't bother about thinking about the best questions to ask a girl. We got your back. If you want to know how to make small talk by asking questions, we have a video that can help out.
Number 4. Tell me about your favorite childhood memory. Nostalgia is a powerful tool when it comes to learning how to start a conversation. As a piece of small talk advice, asking her about her fondest childhood memory unlocks not just the potential of a long conversation, but also the chance to connect with each other through similar experiences. I remember one good friend of mine who met her now husband at another friend's party. She's had her fair share of meeting men with their awkward chat-up lines. So when this guy approached her, she was ready to turn the conversation down. However, her husband asked her about her favorite childhood memory. She immediately told him about a fond memory she had with her family. Then her husband told her about a similar experience he had when he was younger. They talked and talked for hours, reminiscing about positive memories and experiences. They both realized that they have a lot of similarities. And now, years later, they look back at their first meeting, which has become a cherished memory between the two of them. I know it might sound cliche, but isn't finding true love supposed to be that way? By approaching a woman with an opening question that triggers positive response or memories, men like you can also walk closer to a door of new relationship opportunities. Number 3. Sorry if I'm too upfront, but seeing you smile literally made my day.
Here's another blush-worthy conversation starter. Believe me, if you approach her or any woman with this opener, you'll surely be taking down her phone number sooner or later. Like I mentioned before, anyone appreciates sincere compliments, and starting off on a positive small talk gives you a ton of opportunities to bring the conversation further. Just think of it. You can use this opener to tell her about how she lit up your day. You can flirt by telling her what you've been up to today, and when you're done, you can ask her about her day. You can also point out the other positive things about her. For example, if she's wearing makeup, you can tell her that her makeup is impeccable. You can also tell her that her hair looks good, or her presence or the way she carries herself that day makes her look very powerful, and you find that really attractive. A word of caution though, you should still consider the situation at hand. Read the room, read the atmosphere. You have to gauge whether it's appropriate or not to unleash the greatest conversation starters at someone you like. Before you approach her, make sure that you take note of the signs a woman wants to be approached. If you don't know what to look for, this video can help out.
Thank you for tuning into our video about awesome conversation starters. But before we continue, we'd like to remind you to watch until the end to know the one thing to avoid when learning how to talk to your crush. All right, let's get on with the list. Number 2, corny pickup line, a meme, or let's go watch a movie? There are a lot of ways to meet new people in this modern age, but there's only a handful of gimmicks that actually work when it comes to catching someone's attention. For this segment in our video, we'll talk about a non-conventional way to approach a woman you like. This is great because it works on women whom you've known for a while, as well as women you've only just met. And what's best is that you can use this chat-up line on the internet. Online dating apps have taken the whole building a relationship to a different level. Many individuals struggle and remain clueless on what they should send first when they match with someone. So if you're looking for useful tips to approach her online, the line, corny pickup line, a meme, or let's go watch a movie takes the cake. Why? Because not only does it show your confidence in asking her out right off the bat, but this chat-up line also gives her a glimpse of your fun-loving side and your preparedness to give out multiple conversation starters. You might also be surprised by what she picks out for you. If you want to know how to talk to her and keep the conversation going, let's head on to the last conversation starter on our list. Number 1, what's the worst opening line you've ever heard?
Thinking of a surprising yet memorable way to catch a woman's attention right there and then? Asking her about the worst opening line she's heard in her entire existence can do the job. Imagine you're at a gathering with some friends and you finally muster up the courage to approach the girl you've been pining on for quite some time. You think, what opening line should I use? And nothing comes to mind. This line at number 1 is great at catching her attention. Why, you ask? It's because this one is perfectly flirty, playful, and a real icebreaker. You know the worst pickup line she's ever heard, and an incredible consolation, you get to see her smile and hear her laugh at the memory of the failed chat-up line. Want to know the best thing to do to easily talk to her to keep the conversation going? We have a video that will show you exactly what to do after saying the greatest conversation starters on this list.
It's time that we talk about the number 1 thing to avoid when trying to further your conversation. That thing is talking over her. No one likes a person who does all the talking without pausing to listen. We know that going up to a girl you like and talking to her takes a toll on your nerves, and sometimes you can't even control how you talk. However, a lot of women and men get immediately turned off at a person who doesn't let them have a turn at speaking. While it's fun and exciting to finally speak to the one that you like, you have to mind the conversation. Are you the only one who's talking? Do they still seem interested? If you think that you've been the only one who's holding up the conversation, then you should pause and let her take the stage. What are other memorable conversation starters you've used before? Share them below in the comments section.
Remember, knowing the best questions to ask a girl and great conversation starters can help you approach her like a pro. So use your newfound knowledge on the greatest conversations to catch her attention fast and easy. And if you want to take the conversation up a notch, our video on the 10 best questions to ask a girl will give you an idea of how to do just that.